Good evening. It is election night in America, and we are following some very close races in both Oregon and Washington at this hour with brand new results and also some speeches from key candidates just coming into our newsroom. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. Let's start tonight with one of the closest races of the night. Everyone's watching. Who will be Oregon's next governor? And here are a look at the results as they stand now. They've been changing minute by minute. Tina Kotek out ahead by about a point and a half. We are listening to Tina Kotek right now addressing her supporters. Let's listen in.
But the reality is the race is just too close to call tonight. I am optimistic about the numbers, but it's still too early, folks. Thank you. You know, it's actually not surprising that we have to be a little bit more patient. Oregon has the best voter access laws in the country. And as you know, the legislature passed 2 new changes that make it even easier to vote. And while that is good for democracy, it also means we need to be patient, and it will just take longer for all the votes to be counted. But I know that you are all patient people, because you believe in democracy, and we'll just need to wait. So let's give a shout out to all the election workers who will be working overtime to count every vote. This campaign for governor has been absolutely an amazing experience. Thank you. There have been 4,000 volunteers on this campaign for governor. There have been more than 24,000 contributors to this campaign. This is the grassroots campaign for governor in the state of Oregon. We have had an amazing coalition of labor, choice, environmental activists, communities of color, frankly, anyone who cares about the future of this state. And we have had also an incredible student. Absolutely. We have had an incredible, also student-led effort for this campaign. We've had Students for Tina on university campuses. Teens for Tina reaching out to younger voters. Younger Oregonians know what is at stake in this governor's race. It's about choice. It's about the climate. It's about gun violence prevention. Our young Oregonians are going to lead us forward in this campaign, and they have. Thank you for being here. I've met a lot of young Oregonians on this race. I'm going to divert a second from my script. It's so inspiring when someone who's 8 or 9 or 10 comes up to you and says, I believe in you. I believe in our future. We need you to be elected. Young people are going to save us. We have a future because of them. I want to thank everyone who has volunteered this year, volunteered their time to help Democrats up and down the ticket. Thank you so much. You showed up, you didn't take anything for granted, you knocked on doors, you made phone calls, you pitched in a few dollars if you could. That is why we are seeing success here in Oregon tonight for Democrats. Thank you. And since I have a moment here, I also want to thank the incredible staff of Team Tina. Can we get a round of applause for folks on my campaign? I have never worked with a more talented, hardworking, dedicated group of individuals who were committed to making sure we could run the race we needed to run And I want a special...
All right, we're going to jump in here. You've been listening to Democratic candidate for Governor Tina Kotek there addressing supporters in Northeast Portland. Kotek there saying this is just too close to call. We need to be patient. Less than 20,000 votes separate Kotek and Christine Drazen, her Republican challenger here. 60% of the vote is what we're estimating, around 60%. Somewhere between a half and 2/3 of the vote has been counted. So we are a long way to go still at this stage.
And let's check in now at Republican candidate Christine Drazen's campaign party. Our Blair Best is with her in Silverton. Blair.
David, Laura, we're expecting to hear from Christine Drazen at any moment tonight. We're just not sure when, but confidence has really been the theme here in Silverton, even given how tight this race is. We're hearing from supporters and from Christine that everyone is feeling good about these numbers, even given how tight it is. Now, a few hundred Drazen supporters have filled this barn at the Oregon Botanical Gardens, and spirits are high. There's dancing, singing, cheering all night long. Earlier tonight, Drazen's campaign co-chair addressed the room, saying 2022 could be the year that Oregon sees a Republican governor for the first time in nearly 40 years. There are supporters here of all ages. Many describe her as an authentic, down-to-earth candidate and the change that Oregon needs.
I mean, at the end of the day, Christine is just a down-to-earth candidate. She means what she says, and she's going to do what she's going to say she does. So, I mean, she's just so amazing.
Now, we were supposed to hear from Christine Drazen about 10 minutes ago, but we heard from her co-chair instead for the second time tonight, telling us that many of Drazen's supporters returned their ballots today, so they're still waiting for those to be counted. Again, we are expecting to hear from Drazen at any moment tonight. We'll bring that to you when we do. David, Laurel.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Blair. And right now we want to check in with unaffiliated candidate Betsy Johnson's campaign. She's been at the Columbia County Fairgrounds in St. Helens tonight.
Yeah, Johnson was in high spirits even as she conceded this race. She currently holds about 9% of the vote as it still comes in. She had a lot of supporters with her tonight, including former Oregon Governor Ted Kulinkoski. Johnson said she has no regrets for shaking things up.
I'll begin by stating the obvious. It's more fun to win than to lose. But when I decided to run for governor without any party affiliation, to run as an Oregonian, not as a D or an R, I knew the odds were very long, and I didn't care.
And it won't surprise you, Johnson thanked everyone and ended her speech with, quote, "Let's have a drink." So let's focus on the Portland races now for Portland City Council. Incumbent Joanne Hardesty trailing by double digits to newcomer, her challenger, Renee Gonzalez. Let's head out now to Kylie Boshi covering this race for us. Kyle?
Laurel, political newcomer Renee Gonzalez says this has been a 15-month journey. He credits his family, friends, and supporters for a strong ground game and also being by his side throughout this entire campaign.
Supporters of Portland City Council candidate Renee Gonzalez cheered early returns, which showed the challenger with a healthy lead over incumbent City Commissioner Joanne Hardesty. Hardesty is the only City Council member on the ballot. The election served as a litmus test for how Portlanders view current city leadership and how elected officials have tackled the city's deepening homeless crisis and gun violence.
I'm just so thrilled so many people showed up and supported us. We wanted to offer a choice to the city of Portland. We think we did that, and we like the way it's looking right now.
Hardesty became the first black woman elected to Portland City Council in 2018.
Supporters tonight, she loves this city, and it doesn't matter what her title is, she's here to stay.
All right, Kyla Boshi there. We're going to also talk about the Portland charter reform measure. Let's bring that up for you. Right now, it appears Portland is poised to enact a new form of city government.
And if indeed it passes, the city will hold a news conference tomorrow afternoon to discuss the next steps.
That measure includes a lot of changes. Again, too early to call. It's going to allow voters to rank candidates in order of their preference using something called ranked choice voting. The city would be split into 4 new geographic districts with 3 members to represent each district, and expanding the city council to 12 members. The mayor would take on an executive role, and a newly appointed city manager would oversee the bureau's. Chief Administrative Officer Michael Jordan explains how the transition, again, if this passes, how it would shape out in the years to come.
We're required to be ready for an election in November of 2024, which would be the first election under the new form of government, should it pass. And the winners in that election would take their seats in January of 2025.
So we'll hear more on charter reform tomorrow. Now to the race in Washington that could tip the scales in Congress. Right now in the U.S. House Washington 3rd District, Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez has an 11,000 vote lead over Republican Joe Kent. We have to say these numbers, we only got one release of numbers from Clark County, and we're not likely to get another update before tomorrow. So these are early returns. Things could change. Evan Watson's been in Southwest Washington all night for us. He's in Vancouver right now, where Gluesenkamp-Perez held her event. Evan?
Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez tells me these early results exceed her expectations, and her campaign is cautiously optimistic moving forward. But the big story here, there are still a lot of votes left to be counted, and this race could change and evolve over the coming days as those votes are tallied. Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez says she hopes the votes are going to hold and this result is going to hold in the next couple of days. She thanked election workers for verifying signatures and counting ballots for the days to come. A crowd cheered the early results at a downtown Vancouver hotel tonight. Gluesenkamp-Perez says it shows a normal person can run for Congress and connect with voters who want a, quote, more moderate choice.
This is where the work really starts, right? This is where the opportunity is to really put your nose down and do the work that it takes. And so we're excited about the opportunity. It's a huge honor should it come to actual fruition. We're excited and we'll be watching numbers closely.
On the other side, Republican candidate Joe Kent did not make a statement tonight. The Kent campaign denied members of the press access to their event in Brush Prairie. Instead, Kent campaign manager Ozzie Gonzalez said Joe Kent feels good with the early results and believes he will gain ground in the days to follow, just like he did in the August primary, thanks to Republican voters who dropped off their ballots today.
In the spot we're in right now, in the primary, came back from a 5-point deficit after the initial night. So, we don't think these results are really reflective of what the results will be. I think we'll know more Wednesday, Thursday, as they continue to process and count ballots.
As Joe Kent has previously questioned the results of the 2020 election, I asked Kent's campaign manager if he's going to respect the results of this election now that he holds a slim margin of below Gluesenkamp-Perez right now. Campaign manager said yes, Joe Kent will respect these results, which is the same thing Kent told me himself about a month ago. So now as it stands, Gluesenkamp-Perez with this narrow lead and both candidates waiting to see the future vote result updates to see who comes out on top in this race. Guys.
Evan Watson in Vancouver, where it looks like everybody's gone home. All right, these are changing minute by minute. Some counties, we should mention, even report ballots in the middle of the night. Multnomah County, 2 a.m. We are looking at you. The latest election results anytime at KGW.com and on the KGW app.